Okay. Well, somebody else is going to jump on. I hope that she didn't see that. I was in another meeting and then bail out, but we'll see. Okay. All right. We're going to start by lying on our backs today. So as you're lying down on your back, I want you to separate your feet and then let the knees just hang together. And just adjust the feet wherever, wherever it's the most comfortable, where you feel like you can lay here with minimal effort for a few minutes. And then put one hand on your belly and one hand on your heart. And I just want you to begin to notice the breath. We're going to do a two-part breath here this morning. So not only to kind of boosting the immune system, but also tapping into the lymphatic system. Obviously that has everything to do with the immune system, but then also balancing the nervous system. So for a moment, just notice how you're breathing without judgment. And then I want you to consciously begin to breathe into the belly and then carry that inhale up to the chest. So without actually forcing the breath to begin and end, but just letting the breath come, carrying it into the belly and then the chest, and then exhaling normally. And the belly doesn't have to get too high. The lungs are obviously going to fill and get bigger than the belly will. But just be sure that you're engaging and moving both of those parts of the body, breathing into the hand on the belly and then the chest. And then exhaling, making the new breath effortless. Just let it come on its own. And I have no specific theme or intention or anything today. We're just going to be still and be aware. We'll take 3 more breaths here. And then just go back to your regular passive breath. Notice if there's any difference now. And we're going to release the hands and bring the right ankle to the left knee. So we're going to start on our backs and do supine pigeon here. Interlace the fingers behind the thigh and then press the knee towards the chest. Keep the jaw relaxed, the shoulders soft towards the mat. One more breath here. And then exhale, bring the left foot down, right foot down. We'll do the other side. So left ankle to the right knee, interlace behind the thigh. Bring the knee towards the chest. Relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. And just focus on that lengthening and opening that's happening on the outside of the left leg. Next, exhale, release. We're gonna bring the knees up to the chest, and we're gonna do a twist here. So go ahead, you can just hug the knees first and rock a little bit left to right. And then we're just gonna simply drop the knees to the right, extend the arms out, and look over the left fingertips. If you can, if that's okay for your neck, otherwise you can keep it neutral, right, looking straight up. Soften the muscles in the lower back and feel the spine in the twist. Feel the organs getting that massage. And then exhale, bring the knees up. Take a breath here, and then drop them to the left. Look over the right fingertips if you can. And then soften the upper torso. Let the right shoulder drop towards the mat. And then exhale, bring the knees back to center. And then drop them down. Roll onto your side and come up to a seated position. So I want to do stack the logs as we sit here before we get to our hands and knees. So start with the right foot down, left ankle to right knee if you can. If your knee is like way up here, that's fine. You can either just place your heel, your top heel in front of the right knee, or rest it on a block. That's an option too. So just kind of find out where your legs are good here. And I know this is a gentle class, but if you, if there's anything that you're interested in, you know, taking it to the next step, just let me know and we can do it here since you are in this class. It's more like one-on-one, you know. Take the right fingertips down, left arm up. Exhale, lean to the right. And then left arm down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. Come back to center. We're gonna switch legs, but first do a forward fold. So inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, you can stay right here if this is enough, or just begin to walk the fingertips in front of the legs. Keep the shoulders back, keep the neck long. And we're just looking to like hinge from the hips instead of leading with the shoulders. Inhale, come back up. And then switch legs, so left leg is on the bottom, right leg on top. Notice any differences in the mobility in your hips here too. For instance, it's much easier for me on this side for some reason, even though my injury is on this side. But just see where you are. It's just another way to notice the body. First, left arm up on the inhale, and then exhale, lean. Bring that arm back down. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, lean to the left. It's interesting how even just these simple movements, like if you don't have them in your life for a few days, you notice the difference. Bring that arm down. We're gonna go ahead and come forward on this side. So inhale, lengthen first, And then as you exhale, lead with the chest, shoulders back, hinge forward. Just walk the fingertips as far as your body lets you today. And then take a few breaths where you stop. And then lift on an inhale. So inhale, come back to a seated position. Release the legs. If you want to stretch them out for a minute before you go to hands and knees, you can do that. And then come to hands and knees. We're going to come to child's pose here. So Vidalasana, big toes together. Knees are wide. Just get them pretty wide, like to the edges of the mat, and then sit back. Walk the hands forward. Let the forehead come to the mat or to a block. If you don't have a block, they can come down to the fists. And just breathe here. Like I said, no extra chatter today, just stillness and quiet. Take one more breath here. And then as you begin to lift the head, if your hands are not to the mat, bring them to the mat. Lift the torso just a little so we can walk the hands to the right first. So go as far as you can to the right, and then soften towards the mat. Breathing into the left side of the body, feeling that space that you're creating.
Should I be making sure my butt stays on my heels, or is it okay if it lifts up?
If your butt is lifting up, then just walk the hands closer towards the center until it's on the heels. Are you still able to feel something in the left side of the body?
Yeah.
Okay. As long as you're still feeling that, then that's good. And your head doesn't have to go all the way down either. Go ahead and lift and walk to the other side. Yeah, and now that you're saying that, like my right buttocks is definitely lifted a little bit off the heel, but if it's way up, then just walk back a little bit.
Okay.
This is the purpose of this one is really to get to the QL muscles, the lower quadrants of the back. So as long as you're hitting that, take one more breath here. And then exhale, come back to center. Bring the knees straight forward, come to hands and knees. We're gonna do thread the needle, left hand to the center of the mat. No puppy today?
So far he's still in bed.
Oh, good. Sweet guy. Exhale, bring the fingertips under. And so you have a couple of options here. You can keep pressing the left hand into the mat, or if you want to just extend the left arm straight overhead, you can do that too. I personally like the pressing of the palm for the stability, but you can get a deeper stretch if your arm is right over the head. So take 2 more breaths here. And then as you exhale, come back to center. Right hand to the center of the mat, left arm comes up to get that counter twist. And then as you exhale, bring the left fingertips through, rest the head. After you take a breath or 2 here, if you are able to reach the fingertips a little further comfortably, then you can do that. Just keep creeping them. or just be right where you are. One more breath. Exhale, back to hands and knees. Come down to your forearms for puppy pose. This one definitely, widen the knees a little bit. Let the sitting bones lift as high as you can. And then walk the hands forward, but stay on the forearms and let the head drop to the mat. If you're pressing the fingertips into the mat, you'll open up the shoulders a little bit more. You'll feel more of a stretch. So if you want to press the fingertips and release and just feel the difference, and take a few breaths here. Not engaging anything right now. Just let the belly hang. Let everything just kind of tip forward to the mat, releasing the spine completely. And then on your next exhale, you can start walking the hands back towards the body, lifting the body. We're going to take the right leg forward. So coming into this lunge. And then we're going to keep the front foot planted. So I was just going to say something about the knees. If you ever need to put a blanket or something under the knees, go ahead and do that. Inhale, bring the arms up. As you exhale, you're going to twist to the right and bring the left elbow to the outside of the right knee. So even if your hands come apart, that's fine. Just wedge that knee in towards the armpit. If you can do prayer hands here, go ahead and do that and rotate the right shoulder back. If that's not working, just take your arms straight and then right hand behind the back. As long as you're coming into, revolving the spine here. Find a focus point on the floor. Use your breath to help you balance. One more breath here. And then exhale, look down at your foot. Bring both hands back to the mat and bring the right leg back. Do the same thing with the other. So first bring the left foot forward. Imagine all four corners of the front foot pressing into the mat. And then inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, rotate to the left, right elbow to the outside of the left knee. And if you're feeling super unbalanced, you can also widen your stance. So you can walk the left foot out to the left more, for example. And then you can either just gaze straight ahead, gaze on the floor, or gaze up towards the ceiling. Those same belly chest breaths that we were taking in the beginning, find that breathing. And then exhale, look down. Return the hands back to the mat. Left leg comes back. We're going to curl the toes under and come up into our first down dog here. So don't worry about straightening the legs at all. Just bring the hip sockets up. Lengthen the spine. You're pressing, the L shape of the fingers. You're pressing the pinky. Just take a minute here, actually, to notice what muscles are activating as you press your hands into the mat. So first press the L shape, the thumb and the first finger, press that into the mat. And notice the shoulders, the biceps. And then now put more pressure on the pinkies, pressing the pinkies. And you'll notice the triceps and the outer arms engaged. So we want to press all three of those together. Obviously, we're pressing everything into the mat, but those two areas specifically, really paying attention. And you can pedal out your feet. Move the hips around. The down dog is never static, and to be honest, we never arrive at the perfect down dog. It's always a work in progress. There's always fine tuning that we do. Take another breath here, and then we're just gonna look up and walk towards the front of our mat. So look up and begin to walk the feet forward. Bring your hands up to your thighs, shoulders back, elbows back. Nice flat back here. You can slightly bend the knees, press the feet, inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. We're gonna go through 2 rounds of a sun salutation here, and you can use your knees for the planks and chaturangas, and you can also choose child's pose instead of down dog. So start with Tadasana. Inner edges of the feet are parallel, toes are pointing straight forward. Take a look at your knees really quick too. Just kind of notice what direction they feel like going. And so like for me, my knees point in, and I have to engage the quadriceps to get the knees in the direction of my second and third toe. So that's how active my legs are in Tadasana. And then lift the chest. Get tall through the crown of the head. And then we'll begin with an inhale, bringing the arms up. And then exhale, fold, bend the knees as generously as you need to. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back to plank. Full plank or knee plank. As long as your shoulders are not over the wrists or beyond the wrists. And then navel to spine. Elbows should be kissing the sides of the body, lower chaturanga. Hands to lower ribs, inhale, just a cobra here. We're gonna take 3 breaths in this cobra, pressing the hands, pressing the tops of the feet, shoulders away from the ears, backs of the legs are on fire. And then curl the toes under, downward facing dog. 5 breaths here, or child's pose, you choose, yogi's choice. 1, 2, 3, ears to inner arms if you're in down dog, and also be sure that your toes are pointing straight forward still. Check that alignment. 4, 5. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Back to Tadasana, one more time. Inhale, bring the arms up. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, fold. Hinge forward at the hips, get the belly onto the thighs. Inhale, look up, flat back. Exhale, step back to plank. Taking a breath here. Exhale, chaturanga. Evenly lower the body. Inhale. Come to upward facing dog now. Everything lifts off the mat. Look up. And then exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. 1. Slow, steady breaths. 2. 3. 4. 5. Inhale, look up, get to the front of your mat. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart, back to Tadasana. All right, so we're gonna come to Warrior 2. So starting from your Tadasana, just taking a breath, kind of feeling your body after doing those 2 rounds of the Surya Namaskar A. Bring the right leg up and out. So coming into a wide leg stance. And then from the hip socket, bring the right toes out 90 degrees. Back toes, our back foot will be parallel with the back of the mat, or the toes in just a little bit, depending on your anatomy. Take your hand to the outside of the left leg, press it, push the pelvis down, and bend the knee. So here my knee, I'm not giving myself enough credit for my stance. So if your knee is going beyond the ankle, scoot your toes forward. You can go further. I'm going to keep this knee open. Be sure that it's over the second and third toe, not caving in. Left shoulder back, extend the arms. Look over the right index finger. We're going to stay here for 3 breaths. So we don't want the back knee bending. Press it. Press the back foot into the mat. Strong legs. Engage the lower belly in and up through the crown of the head. And then we're going to do a little flow here. So inhale, straighten the leg, bring the arms up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale up. Exhale down. One more time. Up. Exhale down. Next exhalation, we're going to reverse this. So right palm faces up, left palm drops back. We reach back, take a breath, and then exhale down. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. Straighten the right leg, bring the toes in, left toes out. Just pivot on the heel. Well, you can pivot on the ball of your foot and bring the heel in, just to protect the hip joint, and then just scoot the toes forward. Press the outside of the right hip down. Good. And then just check to see where your torso is. Is it leaning forward, or are we in the center? We want to be in the center. Right shoulder back. Look over the left fingertips. Press the outer edge of the back foot. Gaze off that index finger of the left hand. And then inhale up. Exhale down. Slow, deep inhale. And then exhale completely. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Reverse it. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, reverse. Keep the front knee bent. Exhale, warrior 2. Good. Bring the toes in. Then hands down, walk the feet together. And then just bounce the legs a little bit. We're going to come into a version of tree pose / Ardha Baddha Padottanasana, which just means like half lotus leg. But what I want you to do, and I'm not sure where your lotus is personally, and also you can use a wall if you need to, but see if you can bring your knee above the hip on its own, and yes or no. You're good?
Yep.
Okay. Bring the top of the foot on the top of the other thigh. Knee pointing down. Is your knee okay here?
Yeah, my balance isn't great, but my knee's fine.
Okay, we can work with that. So if you need to hold on to something with your right hand, you can. Hold on to the left foot. Find a focus point, just staring at a spot on the floor. The ankle is going to wobble. The knee is going to try to balance you. All of that is working and getting stronger, so it's okay. We're just going to take a couple of breaths here and even just kind of play with keeping your fingertips away from the wall. Shoulders back, chest lifted. Use your breath to help you balance. See if you can take 2 more breaths or come out of it when you're ready. When you are ready, release the foot, straighten the leg, and come back. It's a lot of work standing up. All right, so we'll see where we are on the other side. I'll just recommend that you try balancing without the wall first. Sometimes, you know, depending on what's going on in life, where we are, you know, muscularly, whatever, we could be way more balanced on one side than the other. So left knee has to come above the hip first, just to make sure that your leg can do this. And then come into your half lotus. The top of the foot rests on the top of the opposite thigh. Hold on to the foot with the right hand. Press the knee down towards the floor. And then either bring your left hand towards the heart or the wall. Don't take your eye off that focus point. If you fall out of it, just go right back into it. And then go ahead and get ready to release. Straighten the leg and come back. How was it on that side?
Worse.
That's okay. Would you have known that if you weren't standing on one leg?
Exactly.
There's actually, you're probably way better than you think that you are. You know, I mean, honestly, I've been fortunate enough to practice standing on one leg for 20 years, so I hope I'll be okay with it. But, you know, with things like, for example, you know, a move or life, whatever, my balancing poses are just like day one, you know, so it just all depends. How did your ankles feel?
My ankles were okay.
All right, well, that's good then. So if you have a strap or a dog leash or anything, go ahead and grab that. We're gonna widen into our wide leg forward bend, or we're in our wide leg stance. Toes coming forward, be sure that that's very important. We're gonna take the strap behind our backs. Actually, let's start lower. Grabbing the strap with both hands and palms facing forward, inner arms facing forward. Depending on how mobile your shoulders are, you'll either widen the hands away from each other or bring them close together. So we'll figure that out once we're down there. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. So just send the sitting bones up and the hips back. And then start to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Just slide your hands as needed. You don't want your arms to come all the way around. You want them to just stop, kind of hanging towards the floor. We're gonna take 5 breaths here. Drop the head completely. Bring the hands back down towards the lower back. We're gonna drop the strap off to the side. Bring our fingertips to the floor. And then take a couple of breaths here. Again, dangle the head, let it hang completely. Lift the sitting bones, engage the legs. And then walk the hands to the right foot. We're not doing anything extra here, just feeling the stretch in the back of the leg. And then walk the hands to the left. Keeping the legs straight here. And then back to center. Bend the knees slightly now. Bring the hands to the waist, just to protect the lower back here. And then press, inhale, come up. Exhale, bring your feet back together. So come back to Tadasana legs. We're gonna bring the palms facing up and bring the arms up slowly. So this it's not just bringing your arms above your head, it's practicing keeping the shoulders and the hip sockets for, you know, for things like down dog or any other inversions that eventually, or weight bearing stuff we might do. Not in gentle yoga, but you know, eventually. All right, or not. So keep the shoulders retracted back and just kind of feel it work that ball and socket joint and just see how far up your arms will go. So the shoulders are pressing down the whole time. Once you arrive, just take a few breaths. Be sure your legs are still in Tadasana. We're gonna exhale and twist at the same time. So turn to the right, exhale the arms down. Inhale them back up as you come to center. Exhale to the left, bring the arms down. Inhale back to center. Grab the left wrist and exhale to the right. Inhale to center, grab the right wrist, lean to the left. And then come back to center, grab the elbows behind the back. I always like to pay attention to some specific part of the body that we wouldn't normally in a yoga pose. So let's work on the neck for just a moment. Keep the body still and you know, not moving. The only thing that will move is the neck and the head. So shoulders are back. Look over the right shoulder and then keep the chin to the chest as you roll it across. Left side. We'll do this 3 or 4 times. Go as slowly as you need to. Stop where you need to. And then when you're finished, bring the head back to center. Release the arms. Inhale, bring the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, step back. So come to knees or do regular plank. And then exhale, bring yourself down, chaturanga. And rest on your left arm. We're gonna grab the right ankle, bring the heel towards the buttocks, and press the hips into the mat. Keep the arms straight. Exhale, release. Other side, right arm is a pillow. Left arm grabs the left ankle, heel towards the buttocks. And then press the hips into the mat. Still keep the shoulders back. And then go ahead and release. We're gonna do locust pose, okay? So I want your forehead to be on the mat, so we're not bending the cervical spine at all. We're gonna start with just the legs. So I'm gonna lift my head so I can talk to you. But what you're gonna do is press the pubic bone into the mat, keep the shoulders back, and you're just gonna point the right toe, well, both toes will be pointed, both feet will be pointed. You're gonna lift the right leg up. Lift from the inner thigh. Breathe. See if you can lift a little higher. And exhale, release. Keep your head exactly where it is, and we'll go ahead and do the other side. So lift, point the toes, actively pointing the toes. Breathe, feel your belly pushing into the mat. Lift a little higher. And release. So now we're gonna add the upper body, and we're gonna do both legs at the same time. So it's gonna look just like this. Everything lifts, everything points back. So go ahead, take a deep breath in. Exhale and lift. Find your breath. Shoulders away from the ears, neck is long, point the toes, point the fingers. See if you can go a little higher and take one more breath. Exhale, release. Rest on your left cheek. Bring your hands to the mat. And very slowly, push yourself to hands and knees. So as you do this, try not to lift like this. Try to lift like you're doing a reverse chaturanga. So use your arms, come to hands and knees, take a breath here. Just neutralize the spine again. And then we're gonna come to child's pose. Sit on the heels, head to the mat or block, and then grab the feet. Just curl up into a ball here. We're gonna do 5 breaths here, being still, being quiet, just breathing. And then bring your hands back to the mat. Press yourself up. You're gonna lift the sitting bones, cross the ankles, and have a seat. Bring the legs out in front of you. Bend the right knee. Drop the knee out to the side. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold forward. So use your strap here. Okay, I mean, the goal is obviously not to reach the foot. In some practices it is, but not here. Our goal is to open up the hips, strengthen the quadriceps. In order to let the hamstrings release, we need to engage the quadriceps. Otherwise, your hamstrings get confused and they think that they think they are everything and they do the work for you. So even if you're right here and you're feeling that, stretch in the back of the leg, you're good. Keep the foot flexed, keep the shoulders back. One more. Release, inhale, come up. Bring this knee in, we'll do the same thing on the other side. Notice any differences too in the legs. Bend the knee first to close up the knee joint to safely drop the knee out to the side. Use the strap if you need to. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge forward. So you're still squeezing that grapefruit between the shoulder blades. Engaging the quadriceps. So it feels like you're pressing the back of the knee towards the mat. Take one more breath here. And release. Inhale, come up. Bend the right knee, bring the bottoms of the feet together. We are gonna round the back here. We're gonna actively round the back. So inhale, lengthen. And then as you exhale, push the belly, push the spine towards the back of the body and drop the head. Press the knees open with your elbows. Next inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, use your hands to bring the knees together. Straighten the legs. You're gonna point the toes. You're gonna bring the hands together. Interlace the fingers and just have the pointer fingers coming forward, just to engage the shoulders. We're gonna actually come down one vertebra at a time, bring the arms up and back. So really engaging the lower belly until we're lying all the way down, arms stretched overhead. Take a stretch. And then bend the knees. We're gonna do bridge pose here. Bring our legs up. And then Shavasana time. All right, so heels close to the sitting bones, shoulder blades flat on the mat. Palms are gonna be facing up and getting ready to interlace underneath the back. Take a deep breath in. Press the feet, lift the pelvis. Interlace the fingers, walk the shoulders towards each other. Don't let the knees hang open. Press the inner edges of the feet. Press the heels, lift the chin. Watch the belly go up and down here. We're gonna take 3 breaths. Keep pressing. Exhale, lower the pelvis without moving anything else. And then release the shoulders and spine. Take a breath here. If you have a block, do you have a block?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and put the block underneath the sacrum. So right below the part of the spine, that flat triangle part. And then we're gonna put the legs up. So a supported shoulder stand here. Left leg first, then right leg. Keep the feet together like you have one big leg. And then be sure that your legs are not tipping forward. Try to get the ankles directly over the hips. Actually, I'm a little bit far back. Okay, yeah, right in the middle, 90-degree angle. And this is an inversion. So this is just as good as standing on your head any day. Giving the cardiovascular system a bit of a break, having to fight against gravity. Releasing some pressure from the legs and the feet. You're nourishing the organs with the pooling of the blood. This is rejuvenating, not just for the legs physically, but for the nervous system and going into rest and digest mode. So this is great right before you go to bed, putting your legs up on the wall, 5-10 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and bring the legs down one at a time. So left leg first, and then right leg. Lift the pelvis, remove the block. And then bring the knees up to the chest. We'll give them one more hug. If you want to come into to do this and then go into happy baby, you can do that. So grabbing the inner legs, feet are flat up towards the ceiling, and then pressing the knees towards the floor. Once you're done rocking, bring the knees back together, drop the feet to the mat, and then get ready for Shavasana. So put on a blanket, sweatshirt to get as comfortable as possible. The blanket is because your temperature will change once you're still. It'll drop. Although doing Shavasana for 20 minutes is like having a 2-hour nap, you know, brain-wise, we try not to fall asleep during Shavasana, cozy as you are. If you do fall asleep, that's okay though, because a lot of us come to the mat really exhausted.